Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to be considering some of the spiritual gems comments for the week of July 22 to 28, 2024. So friends, we welcome you, and now let's jump right in. For this week's Bible reading, we have Psalms 66 to 68. And let's start with the first question. This comes from the book of Psalm 68, verse 18. Let's read it. It says, "You ascended on high, you carried away captives, you took gifts in the form of man." So, the question, in the days of ancient Israel, who were the gifts in the form of man? The answer, D, according to the reference, these were men from among those taken captive during the conquest of the promised land. Such men were later assigned to assist the Levites in their work. A practical lesson from this verse is, and this reminds us that in modern times there are brothers and sisters among us in the congregations. They are true gifts in the congregations. That is spiritual gifts, because their spirituality, faith, good actions, etc. Okay, the second question says, what spiritual gems from this week's Bible reading would you like to share? And let's begin with number 1. We have Psalm 66, verse 2 and 4. These verses say about praising Jehovah and His glorious and holy name, but only Jehovah. So this teaches and reminds us that praising is directed only to Jehovah and His holy name, and at no time we would occur to us to praise another human being. About this matter, Jesus told his disciples about not seeking praise to themselves, because they were slaves who were good for nothing. They did what they had to do. This is in Luke 17:10. Okay, number 2, 66:4. Same principle. Praising Jehovah is a privilege, and we value the fact of being in the congregation praising Jehovah. On the other hand, we notice many people, they are not interested in praising God. Instead of that, they prefer praising creation, that is, famous people of this world, celebrities, etc. There is no doubt, it's a real privilege to understand and appreciate the fact of being here praising Jehovah. We don't take it for granted. This is not by chance. It's a real blessing and privilege. 3. 66:5. The verse says, "Come and see the works of God. His deeds toward the sons of men are awe-inspiring." So this speaks of God's actions, works toward humanity, and this reminds us Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 5. God makes the sun rise on the righteous and on the unrighteous ones, and also the rain. And the practical principle we learn from these words by Jesus is to imitate Jehovah. How? Being kind, not just with those who treat us well, but even with those who have mistreated us. Even praying and blessing those who have harmed us. Number 4. 66 verse 7 says, He rules forever by his might. His eyes keep watch on the nations. Those who are stubborn should not exalt themselves. So this speaks about, in the last part, the stubborn not exalting themselves. And this reminds us of the Jesus' words when he said, The one who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. And some weeks ago, we considered the example of Herod in the congregation Bible study, and people said about his talk, his discourse in front of men, that was a God's voice and not humans or man's voice, and immediately he fell down because he was exalting himself. Number 5, 66 verse 10, the verse says, For you have examined us, O God, as silver is refined, so you have refined us. So this teaches us that it's really important to let Jehovah refine us. During these last weeks, Jehovah's organization has been giving us specific advice about Christian living, and we wonder if we are applying this advice, or on the other hand, if we are just listening this or hearing this advice, but we continue being the same as always. And if we are striving to do our best, there's no doubt Jehovah is working on us, He's refining us, and that's really important. Number 6, 66:18, this verse says, If I had harbored anything hurtful in my heart, Jehovah wouldn't have hurt me. This speaks about something that causes God not to hear our prayers, keeping something hurtful in the heart. In other words, if we are living two lives, for example, in one life we are serving in the congregation, but on the other life we are practicing immorality, adultery, or any other sin, or if we been treating others as if they are worthless, this will hinder our prayers, and of course we try to do our best, and this motivates us to be in good standing before God, as King David did. Number 7, 68:5, this verse says about a father of the fatherless and a protector of widows is God in His holy dwelling. This verse makes us think about how important it is to imitate Jehovah by helping widows and orphans or fatherless that we find on our way. Sometimes in our congregations, on our path, spiritual fatherless, widows, or literal widows and fatherless. Actually, the book of James 1:27 says that the true religion or true worshiping is helping, assisting widows and fatherless. But on the other hand, we notice how this world and some people with religious people, they are doing the opposite. On the contrary, they take advantage of them. They take advantage of widows and orphans. That's something that God is being observing and He'll pay them according to their actions. Number 8. 68:11. We read the verse first. Jehovah gives the command. The women proclaiming the good news are a large army. So this teaches that our sisters are very important. In fact, if we take a look in Jehovah's organization, we find more sisters than men. There is no doubt we respect our sisters and value their work in the congregation. 9. 68:35. We read, God is outspouring from His grand sanctuary. He is the God of Israel who gives strength and power to the people. Praise to God. This teaches that if we learn to depend on Jehovah, we receive strength. And when our strength runs out, we can ask for strength again and continue forward. And finally, number 10. And the same verse reminds us of the words of the Apostle Paul when he said, I have strength for all things through Him, through the one who gives me power. Philippians 4:13. Jehovah gives strength and power to His people, to His servants. So this motivates us to asking, praying for it. Okay, friends, that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day and be able to attend your midweek meeting. Hope you have a wonderful day. Be safe and hope to see you in our next broadcast. See you next time.